The President. Good morning, members. We resume the reading debate on keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policy. Ms. Nixie Lam. Thank you, President. I support Mr. Ma's motion. I'd like to talk about Cantonese opera when it comes to keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policy. Sunbeam Theatre has passed its time. We are at the crossroads of keeping our traditions and keeping pace with the times and moving on with cultural policy. We not only have Koshan Theatre, Yamate Theatre, and Sichu Center. There's limited room for innovation. I'm glad to see that the Secretary talking about improving the arrangements for Hong Kong Coliseum. There is general agreement in the trade. In Hong Kong Coliseum, the cost is higher when Cantonese opera needs to stage performances. If we need to stage performances that represent Hong Kong, we must add more gimmicks owing to the limited seating capacity of Hong Kong Coliseum. For instance, we need to use technologies in order to enhance the appeal. The GBA market has massive potential, but the promotion of Cantonese opera in Hong Kong is not sufficient. Cantonese opera is the icon of Hong Kong. We are a melting pot of Eastern and Western cultures. Mainland audience don't know a lot about the cultural foundation of Cantonese opera. We need to keep pace with the times. We also need to turn vacant school premises into suitable venues. We need to develop an ecosystem of Zichu or Cantonese opera. Procedures about booking venues should also be streamlined. That's how we can promote Cantonese opera in Hong Kong. We need to capitalize on virtual reality technology as well as AI, comparing with the GBA cities. We should work with them to develop a database of Zichu or Cantonese opera. That's exactly how we can pass on our traditions. Innovation isn't all about not continuing with our traditions. We need to inject fresh impetus into our culture. When I was serving as a district councillor, I was promoting Cantonese opera even to a 5-year-old child. Online, there is a Cantonese opera competition. I'm glad to see this. Young people incorporate pop culture elements into traditional cultures, and they serve as ambassadors. Many young people have already started promoting these traditional cultures. But we need to think how we can promote Cantonese opera among young people. Script writing, music, etiquette, and so on, all these should be incorporated into a vibrant or vivid curriculum for promotion. The government should also set up funds to subsidize young people to go overseas for exchange. Patterns on the costumes should be explored. When it comes to cultural policies, we need to embrace innovation while preserving our traditional cultures. We need to take Cantonese opera as a starting point. We need to promote this to the world. I so submit I support the motion. Thank you, President. Ms. Rebecca Chan. Culture is diverse. I'd like to talk about collective memories, say antiquities, ICH, that is intangible cultural heritage, and so on. Culture is vibrant. We need to adopt a people-oriented approach. In the past decades, people said that the cultural policy in Hong Kong is like active non-interference policy. We want to embrace diversity, but the end result is that we are seeing a lot of cultures disappearing. Let's talk about a traditional culture in Hong Kong, that is neon lights. The Buildings Department issued over 9,000 removal orders in relation to neon lights, and they had to be removed. Some community organizations even need to set up their own warehouses to store neon lights. They just wanted to keep this culture, but there is a lack of support. Tourists come to Hong Kong to take pictures with neon lights, but then we're seeing the back of neon lights. Let's talk about Hong Kong-style milk tea. In 2017, it became ICH of Hong Kong. However, did the government work on the promotion and preservation of milk tea? Tourists come to Hong Kong and they take self-check-in pictures with milk tea. When we do so, can we help preserve the tradition of milk tea? It is the ICH office under the LCSD that is responsible for working on ICH. A lot of projects are being implemented covering tree implantation, ICH promotion, and so on. But then, will this hinder the promotion of cultural policies? We do need to revamp the functions of the LCSD. Say we need to upgrade the ICH office. We need to give it a clear role. We need to coordinate the representative list of the ICH of Hong Kong. We also need to engage the participation of the community. At the same time, the LCSD should focus on managing museums, grooming talents, and so on. When it comes to cultural preservation, we should draw on the experience of the mainland. Take Foshan as an example. There are many ICH trails, Cantonese opera, and the like. They come from Foshan. In early 2000, there is a subsidy mechanism in relation to ICH. Subsidies are given to people who promote ICH. Afterwards, the government not only provides long-term rental subsidies, but the government also provides courses together with different technical schools. The government is working very hard to introduce ICH into the community. Leshko Complex went to visit Lingnan area. There is a permanent exhibition gallery for the public. There are also workshops to allow the public to know more about this culture. So we turn the preservation of culture from a static to a dynamic perspective. Silk, costumes, stationery. We blend creativity into preservation of traditional culture. We have the CSTB in the current term of the government. We want to shape tourism with cultural activities and promote culture through tourism. The promotion work on the ICH in Hong Kong provides a lot of valuable experience for us to draw on. As long as we go with the people-oriented approach, we will be able to incorporate culture into our daily life. That's exactly how we can preserve culture and promote it. I so submit. Thank you, President. Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, President. The 14th Five-Year Plan developed Hong Kong into an international cultural exchange center. We have a vibrant cultural vibe. Take New York as an example. It's not just an international financial center, but it's also famous for culture and arts. Tourists and citizens like going to Broadway to watch different Broadway shows, opera, jazz music shows, or they even like visiting contemporary art museums. That's why New York attracts a lot of global talents as well as entrepreneurs. New York has a good business environment. Business opportunities abound. It also provides a lot of opportunities in relation to culture and arts. Last year, the CSTB announced the blueprint for arts and culture and creative industry development. 4 main development directions are provided, covering 71 initiatives. The government needs to continue to work with the trade as well as the commercial sector in order to promote arts and culture and creative industries. That's how we can enhance the influence of the Chinese culture. China has culture or history of 5,000 years. Say Naruto 2, it's become a blockbuster animes all around the world. It uses one of the stories in China to promote China to the world. That is Journey to the West. Hangzhou is one of the 6 dragons of Asia or China. All these show that we are promoting the Chinese culture, and then it is still appealing in different areas around the world. Hong Kong is a melting pot of Eastern and Western cultures. We need to capitalize on our strengths to create unique masterpieces as well as art pieces. Then we can tell the good stories of China and Hong Kong. Take the Chinese orchestra as an example. We need to enhance our promotion on this creation method. Hong Kong has a lot of clansmen associations to promote mainland arts. For example, Beijing Opera. The government may organize different cultural events, Art Basel, and so on to attract more performing groups and talents to come to Hong Kong. We can explore different opportunities to work together. Take Hong Kong Super March as an example. A lot of mega events about culture, sports, and finance are organized in Hong Kong. I hope there will be better collaboration among different policy bureaus. Visitors may join different activities when they come to Hong Kong on a single visit. In the long term, we want visitors to come to Hong Kong not just because Hong Kong is an international financial center, but then Hong Kong is also a melting pot of Eastern and Western cultures. Mr. Erik Yim said in his amendment that we need to bridge the mainland and overseas countries as a superconnector. We need to promote the Chinese culture to the global landscape. I speak in support of the motion and the amendments.
Mr. Vincent Chang, I speak in support of the motion of Mr. Ma, as well as the 2 amendments. When it comes to cultural policy, I would first like to talk about our environment. There was a policy paper from the Culture and Heritage Commission in 2003. It says that Hong Kong has its own culture, and at the same time there is the Western culture. Both shaped our unique landscape. In 2003, there was a mention about the policy direction, which is based on market operation. In the past 23 years, we see that in terms of hardware, say the KCD, as well as restructuring of government organizations, as well as funds, we have attracted Art Basel and other international events to come to Hong Kong. the government has played an important role. I'm happy to see that the government has restructured to put in place a CSDB. Last year, there was the blueprint being promulgated. I took part in it as well. We see that the blueprint has outlined 4 major directions. Our policies have been changing and improving, but time has changed. We need to think about what the future is going to be. I thank Mr. Ma for his motion so that we can express our views. I have something to say. First, on venues. We have been hearing that there are problems with venues from the cultural sector. That's the same for the sports sector. That the problem is that we have limited land. In the northern metropolis, the government said that there will be a cluster for art and sports. But in the short term, is there any way to upgrade our existing facilities? The report talks about making better use of open space. We agree with that, and we thank the government for taking on board our views, for lifting the restrictions on the use of open space. Procedures have also been streamlined. There are more events and exhibitions taking place at various venues, say, for example, the promenade. Please make better use of venues, say, the Kowloon Park. We now see the Chinese culture museum being established there. We hope that there will be more cultural activities taking place. Well, there are proposals to convert industrial buildings into art venues. What is the progress? The Secretary said that they will review the mechanism as well as booking system of venues. I hope that the government will also look at the positioning of the Hong Kong Coliseum. Now I turn to the WKCD, which is important. It provides venues for performances as well as exhibitions. It's also an important incubator. This provides a sustainable ecosystem. Recently, there has been a staging of Hong Kong performances. In August, there will be another performance in Beijing. These are good opportunities to showcase our culture. I hope that in the future there will be more performances curated so that we can showcase the WKCD as a brand. Other products are important. In Dunhuang, in Beijing, we see a lot of cultural products. They have been very well received. Well, we've been doing quite well in terms of M+, but there is still room for further improvement. You can have crossover with local designers. Next is combining culture and tourism to boost consumption. I have talked about this on different occasions. I hope that there will be more studies conducted to promote our mega events. Say, for example, the Pop Culture Festival, Chinese Culture Festival, as well as the ICH Month. We want to attract visitors to come to Hong Kong and extend their stay, and of course to spend. There is the task force on tourist hotspots. They've also come up with some recommendations. I suggest that there will be a local itineraries of individual districts. Say, for example, the Temple Street. When visitors go there, they will spend. This will boost the local economy. Hong Kong is East Meets West, a center for international cultural exchange. We need to have vision. We need to have plans. We also need resources. I hope that the government will keep in view that there is the blueprint so that our blueprint will have vision. Professor Priscilla Leung. When it comes to expression of culture and art, we need words because it is an important vehicle. You need to show things in an artistic way to convey your message. Recently, there has been a visit to Guangzhou Nanhu. It's a major venue. It was an officiating occasion. We brought along with us 100 children living in subdivided units, and they all worked together on a piece which is about 8 meters by 3 meters, which is sizable. This piece has been roaming around Hong Kong for quite some time. In 2024, people talked about leaving subdivided units. We visited 100 children, and we have also approached a local artist. 2 children said that they live in a box, a black one, a dark one. Some dream that they are the girl selling matches. The fact is that some children in Hong Kong have not even been to parks. Some creative ones dreamed about doing fencing with robots or racing with robots. But these art pieces from children are not showed in Hong Kong because of a lack of facility. In Guangzhou, we found a venue. This is the first time. We were asked if there was indeed no place for this piece to be shown, and the answer is yes. We thought about using a vehicle or using different ways. That's why I think that space and resources are important. There is space in Guangzhou. The authorities are aware that the people suffer from emotional problems, and they want to turn to art to be used as a balm to the soul. We see quite a lot of similar events in Hong Kong. In Tsim Sha Tsui, we have shown some art pieces. They were previously called graffiti, but they are not, and they're beautiful. We want to create tourist hotspots using these art pieces. We need an outlet to express your emotions. It is a good way to express yourself. I hope that under the art fund there will be an item for the silver hair. People who have retired still have hobbies. Well, I've said that I fell in love with a tea house in Zhouzhang. I saw in that tea house that there are paintings of the Sahara Desert and many different places. These art pieces have kept the customers in the tea house. There was a recent TV show about the showpiece, the Riverside Code at Qingming Festival, that made me want to go to visit these places again. Kowloon City in Hong Kong is another successful case in point. Well, there is a movie by an overseas director. It's about what the director saw in Hong Kong over his time in Hong Kong over the past decade. I highly recommend it. We can garner force from our friends and overseas friends, local and overseas ones, to promote Chinese culture. Dr. Tik Chi Yuen, I speak in support of the motion. First, I'd like to say that when it comes to subsidy, it has to be equal and fair. In the past, we have an over-reliance on a number of organizations for subsidy. The subsidy focused on just a number of bodies. When it comes to film production, there was the financing scheme, and in 2013 there was the first feature film initiative. However, the amount of subsidy is only a drop in the ocean. We're talking about productions costing millions of dollars. if a film is successfully produced, it's because of support from different parties. In addition, there is also a lack of facilities and venues. The successful example of Taiwan and South Korea told us that we need more support. In Taiwan, there was a ministry for pop culture. In Korea, there is also the ministry for Korean culture. They have provided subsidy to smaller groups as well. We have to bear in mind our uniqueness. But the subsidy scheme focuses on traditional culture only. When it comes to indie music, digital art, there is not enough subsidy. In 2007 in Taiwan, there were initiatives to support indie music. Hence, we have a number of pop indie groups that have become world-renowned. Taiwan has made use of their digital art and music. And the same thing goes for South Korea. Their TV shows and music are well known. So we need to have a dedicated fund to support digital art and cross-discipline creations. We also need to take our culture out of Hong Kong. We need to provide the platform and resources to these groups. We need to help them participate in art festivals so that we can strengthen our position as a cultural center. Culture is about diversity as well as inclusiveness. We need to include culture of different backgrounds. The experience from Taiwan and Macau show us that government support takes not just the form of funding support. There can be other forms as well. In Taiwan, there is this initiative when 8 artists have been selected every year they will receive a support. There are also measures to support over 30 items. A famous music writer has once said that freedom is very important. We also need to provide low-cost studios for our artists to focus on their work. We also need to expand the focus of subsidy. More support should be given to elementary artists. There has been a saying that we have to watch out for soft resistance. Of course, we don't want people to instigate differences and division. We need culture to reflect the sentiment of the general public. The work of Sam Hui and beyond are very popular because they speak for the general public. So when it comes to sarcasm and soft resistance, we have to strike a balance.
Mr. Rock Chan, President, I speak in support of Mr. Ma's motion. Hong Kong is an East-Meets-West center for international cultural exchange with advanced technological development as well as global changes. Well, we have the West Kowloon Cultural Center as well as the Kai Tak Sports Park now, and we have to update our policies to upgrade as well as transform our economy so that we can build a Hong Kong that's influential around the world. With the Kai Tak Sports Park as well as the West Kowloon Cultural District and the Skytopia, which is going to be built soon at the airport, the administration needs to come up with a clear positioning. The West Kowloon Cultural District has M+ as well as other facilities, and it focuses on international performances. Every year we have 4 million visitors. For Kai Tak Sports Park, it holds large-scale events. With Skytopia at the airport, and we will have the Marina Bay and the Art Gallery. They will complement each other. The administration can, through multi-destination tourism, integrate the three. And radiate the impact to other destinations in Hong Kong. We should promote in-depth tourism to enhance economic benefits. Recent years, animations as well as movies have seen rapid development in these emerging areas. We need to nurture artists, and we rely on the Hong Kong Academic Performance Arts Performance Academy. For example, Aristo Shem is one of the talents we see. According to the Manpower Projection 2023, it is believed that by 2028, we will need 265,000 talents for the arts and cultural industry. Learning from international experiences, we need to have a multi-layer talent cultivation system. We can learn from the Beijing Film Academy as well as the New York Film Academy and offer more courses in local universities to nurture playwrights and film directors. We should also offer internship opportunities for post-production of films. We should also have action coaches as well as those who engage in animation. We need to enhance our competitiveness to become an East-Meets-West Center for cultural exchange. We need to step up our cultural exchanges with the mainland and the international world. We can encourage local companies as well as local artists to go global and participate in international exchanges to display our charm. We should leverage our advantages under one country, two systems to promote cultural collaboration in the Greater Bay Area to build an international brand. In recent years, intellectual property is seen as a new growth point for economy. It is expected that by 2026, the Chinese pop market will reach $11 billion. We should set up a cultural fund to subsidize local brand artists. We should also learn from the listed company Pop Mart to build IP. For example, we can build an IP around our animation, comics, as well as martial arts novels and Cantonese pop music, as well as make use of our landmarks to build cultural attractions. We should commercialize these products and build our IP. Thank you. Mr. Tony Che. Thank you. I speak in support of G19's members, Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion. I am a representative of the landscape and architectural culture. I'd like to talk about the cultural facilities here. We've had more cultural and arts facilities in Hong Kong, including the West Kowloon Cultural District's Hong Kong Palace Museum, the M+ Museum, the East Kowloon Cultural Center, which has just been completed, and the Cultural Center in New Territories East, which is being built. We also have the Kai Tak Sports Park, which can be used as a cultural facility. However, the industry is of the view that there is still a lack of facilities. In the northern metropolis, a number of cultural facilities have been planned. However, with the fiscal deficit as well as economic doldrums, some are of the view that these recreational facilities are not urgent and they are therefore compromised. To increase arts and cultural facilities as well as performance venues, apart from constructing new buildings, we can make use of existing facilities. For example, there are historical buildings with arts and cultural elements. If we use them as cultural facilities, we can create synergy. Currently, in Hong Kong, we have examples like these. However, we will have to amend the laws and regulations concerning buildings, and this is not easy. Also, some NGOs and operators lack the motivation, so we have to rely on government subsidies. Unlike other places, we have not been able to revitalize historical buildings and integrate arts and culture as well as catering and shopping. If we're able to do that, we'll be able to run these facilities on a self-financing basis to create economic benefits. The government always grants a nominal rent to different organizations, and they allow organizations to use private playgrounds for certain purposes. Will the government add certain terms and conditions if arts groups want to renew the tenancy so that arts groups can make use of certain venues for exhibitions and performances? Also, we've seen a wave of closure of cinemas in Hong Kong. It's hard to change the land use for cinemas. Will the government consider renting out these sites and turn them into public arts and cultural performance venues? Also, a number of arts groups said or criticized the rental policy of the government. Regardless of whether the arts groups is popular, facilities are rented out to organizations for just a restricted period of time. I think the root problem stems from the cultural policy in Hong Kong. These policies were devised back in the 30s and 40s, and they might be applicable back when Hong Kong was still a cultural desert. However, we are trying to pursue development in arts and culture now. We want to professionalize the industry, and we want to build an industry around these areas. We have the position to become the East-West Center for international cultural exchange, so the government should move with the times. It should do away with its bureaucracy. It should more proactively promote the development of arts and culture in Hong Kong, so that facilities that are built with taxpayers' money can be optimized and that we can create economic benefits. I so submit. Thank you. Mr. Benson, look. I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion on keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policy. I also thank other members for the amendments. According to the CNSD, from 2005, the Arts and Culture Center industry increased from $52.3 billion to $135 billion in 2023. In 2023, we have about 226,000 people working in this industry, accounting for 6.1% of our labor force. It shows that films and arts and culture play an important role in Hong Kong. Films is an important economic engine. It also plays a key role in global culture. I declare that the company I work for takes part in film production and the operation of cinemas. Films involve many parts, including post-production, distribution, release, and so on. And each of these sessions involve different types of talents, and they create many job opportunities. The copyright of films, as well as other parts, they bring about great profit for our country. We are facing challenges in terms of our cinema industry. In 2024, the total box revenue is about $1.34 billion, which represents a drop of 6.2% compared to the year before, and we only have 56 cinemas in total now. And in Hong Kong, since 2004, the Hong Kong box revenue surpasses that from Hollywood by 5.59%. This shows that people are still very passionate about Hong Kong films, like the movies Walled In as well as The Last Dance. They have been very popular. Cantonese films can be released and distributed through film festivals, and this can help show our cultural power, and we can get the global recognition through our films. I have the following 4 suggestions. First, investing in film can bring about benefits. It is a low-risk investment. With economic doldrums, film investors may be more prudent, and they need a longer time to make decisions. In the past, we had a few films being produced at the same time, but this does not happen anymore. We can learn from the Korean model. They encourage SMEs to invest in films, and film industry in Korea is seen as a risk-based investment, and they get tax concessions if they invest in films. We can also offer funds to online films. This kind of policy helps make the film industry in Korea active. Also, we should have a subsidy scheme to enhance our competitiveness. We can encourage collaborations between local companies as well as overseas companies. If the film production reaches certain scale, they can get a refund or rebate. This can help promote other industries as well. Over the past 6 months, we see a number of cinemas folded. This is because of high rent, and this is one of the greatest challenges faced by cinemas. Also, during COVID, we lacked major films. In order to revive cinemas, we have to think of ways. Cinemas have good audio equipment, and we can convert cinemas so that they can become a multi-purpose venue. Also, in recent years, some senior practitioners in the film industry said we can come up with 2 versions for films, one for cinema and one for online streaming platforms, so that after the broadcast in cinemas, the films will still be available on online platforms for audiences. I think we can explore with the industry about this possibility. Thank you.
Ms. Kwok. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion on keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policy. The fine traditional Chinese culture is a core of our nation, is also the fundamental driver of development. We need to tell good stories of our country and of Hong Kong. We should leverage on the soft power, especially in terms of film. I think it's very important to nurture talents. It will contribute to Hong Kong as well as our country's development. With rapid developments of AI technology, we must capitalize on this tool. I helped organize in 4 consecutive years the nationwide Putonghua recital competition. Now, for the first time, AI is deployed in assessing and adjudicating in the competition. The assessments conducted by AI could help students improve. It comes with accurate and comprehensive data to help raise the Putonghua language proficiency of students. It can also help them address shortcomings. The competition encompasses a very wide scope covering poetry, prose, etc. It also helps students learn more about our traditional culture and cultivate a sense of pride and sense of identity. Now, this competition is now exported to other countries such as Indonesia and Thailand. It's one of the activities in a series of events commemorating the 50th anniversary of ties with Thailand. Now, this year also marks the 5th anniversary of the promulgation and implementation of the Hong Kong National Security Law, and also the 10th anniversary of the National Security Education Day. We must leverage on this very important opportunity. Together with the School Association of School Principals in the New Territories, we held a series of events so as to capitalize on AI and make breakthroughs. The secretary also attended our events. We found that AI could be used in the teaching and learning process so as to enrich student experience. AI can also be used in telling traditional Chinese stories and enhancing students' knowledge on national security. Through easy-to-understand stories, students have a greater idea about the core values of safeguarding our country and ensuring security. Now, in fact, the story covers covers the protagonists. They are the admirals, and toy figures have been developed. So my suggestion is for the government to incorporate AI elements in the school curriculum. This can cultivate students' interests and enhance a sense of nation and sense of belonging. AI should also be deployed in enhancing locals' and visitors' experience at the district level. We need to be innovative. There must be long-term planning, so that we have policies that are future-proof, that can span across different cultures, and so that we can also introduce AI in the filming industry. In recent years, the wave of AI has spread to different cities such as Shenzhen, etc. The ethnic dance performance have also now deployed AI. It has formed a new economic circle. Now, Hong Kong is a cultural melting pot. We want to promote night economy, and we're also inclusive. We have strong ties with other countries. We should incorporate AI in the production of short videos or films. We have 5,000 years of tradition in the Chinese civilization. I hope that we can combine culture with innovation, education, and economic development so as to create synergy, so that there will be greater recognition of the great Chinese culture. I so submit, Mr. Ring Kong. I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok for moving this motion. The cultural policy of the Hong Kong government is to respect freedom of expression and promote pluralistic development, as well as fostering partnerships. Currently, the government's cultural policy involves mainly supporting cultural activities being held locally, but against the increasingly complex global landscape, it's very difficult not to discuss the economy whilst we discuss culture. The government should have awareness of this fact. Very often we roll out policies in the form of subsidies and grants to support and encourage the development of the cultural industry. Many people believe that promoting cultural development in Hong Kong means more government subsidies. Now, this is only a narrow interpretation without truly understanding the value of the word culture. We have traditional culture, pop culture, and also the creative culture. There should be different policy support. And whilst protecting and promoting culture, we should make sure that the policy can generate economic value and promote economic development. There is good interaction between cultural and economic policies around the world. These concepts are extensively deployed. In 1970s and 80s, the UK government promoted the development of arts and culture. At the same time, efforts were made in promoting commercialization of cultural activities. So creative industries were formed, and through policy support, concept of culture was further expanded. This is a response to the socio-economic changes during the economic recession in the 1970s. And the cultural policy forms the core of the UK economic recovery policies. In Australia, in 1994, a report was published, and likewise, the government agreed that cultural policies would present a very important opportunity in contributing to the economy. Culture is pivotal to our economic development. Whilst the government reviews the existing cultural policy and roll out new ones, the government should adopt a new mindset. Instead of being an investor, the government should be a sponsor. As for investment return, the objective is not just about reaching out to a wider audience, but to enhance the quality of cultural products, especially against keen global competition. The cultural and creative industries should bring wealth and economic growth and opportunities to Hong Kong. Successful cultural policy also depends on making good use and respecting our local and national traditions. Hong Kong used to make great works. We were the trendsetter in terms of music and video, and that's a great integration between culture and economic development. It shows that Hong Kong has the perfect soil to cultivate the development of the cultural and creative industries. There should not be any contradiction and conflict between the two. Art and culture is everywhere. That's the point I wish to make. Arts and culture depends on freedom of creation and freedom of appreciation. In Shau Kei Wan, the Hoi Shan Mansion is called the Monster Building. It's a unique cultural icon in Hong Kong. Mr. Jimmy Ng, according to the UNICEF, culture covers not only literature or arts, it covers the way of living, the values, the traditions, as well as the religions. We need to continue to update the cultural policy in order to keep up with the times. Culture is a soft power. It exerts influence. It drives impact. It also brings economic development. In 2003, the Culture and Heritage Commission Policy Recommendation Report was published, and for the first time, the basic principles and goals of the policy were established. It also, for the first time, mentioned the cultural industry. The blueprint was promulgated last year. It sets out 4 strategic directions, such as enhancing collaboration with the international community and making Hong Kong the capital of creativity and pop culture. Now, I'd like to talk about the TV and film industry. In 2019, the State Council published a development outline for the Greater Bay Area. The central authorities support collaboration in the Greater Bay Area for Hong Kong to be a TV and film expo hub. This is one way of attracting income. Hollywood is a classic example. The film Naja received excellent box revenue. It ranked 5th in the global box office. It also drove a hype in Chinese culture. The Twilight of the Warrior Walled In, likewise, is a local film. The box revenue recorded exceeded $100 million. This film showcases the culture of Hong Kong, and many visitors from abroad and from the mainland, as a result, have come to Hong Kong and visit the remnants of Kowloon Walled City. And this is one way of combining tourism and culture. We should step up our efforts in supporting the industry. Tax breaks should be provided for production teams. We should attract more joint ventures to produce films in Hong Kong. There should also be more expos to create opportunities for locals and visitors alike. This can also help promote the tourism industry as well. We should mount publicity so as to help local films go global and tap the Belt and Road markets. My next point is about IP culture. La Bubu is now a major global trend. The creator of this IP is a Hong Kong citizen. It shows that Hong Kong people can be creative, and the IP cultural industry could further develop. In the mainland Japan and Southeast Asia, there is a very mature IP model. Collaborations are encouraged. I think the government should likewise formulate a policy to promote Hong Kong-made IPs. We have the talents. We have a unique culture. We need a system. We need a strategy. That means we should set up a mechanism to help our production teams tap global markets so as to foster greater developments and help promote e-commerce. And finally, I think in terms of cultural policy, instead of just taking charge of hiring venues, the government should devise high-level policies.
Mr. Tang Fei, I speak in support of Mr. Ma's motion. I'd like to cite the example of Singapore Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew. Mr. Lee said China would definitely outrun Singapore. Singapore has a lot of peasants. Unlike China, they have a lot of talents. At that time, Deng Xiaoping didn't speak at all. I'm from the Guangdong province as well. From the 70s, 80s, 90s, we have high art, literature, we have movie culture as well. These were all the rage in Southeast Asia and mainland China. Back then, we didn't need cultural policies. It was market-oriented. But now we do need to reinvigorate the market in relation to culture. The mainland counterpart of the CSTB in Hong Kong often says we need to boost culture. Mobile games, literature, audiovisual products, they are all the rage around the world. There are a lot of different novels in Hong Kong. There are different types of literature. Movies. Last week, BBC had a short documentary. It told us how the short videos of mainland China have become immensely popular all around the world. It successfully promotes culture to the global stage. When it comes to mobile games, the game is about the journey to the West. Mobile games are all the rage in the Middle East as well. It uses many different Chinese stories as a story plot. A lot of the Middle East are passionate about games developed by mainland China. This shows that the market is market-oriented. I agree that we do need different policies. We also need cultural policy to bolster the promotion of culture. When it comes to supporting culture, we need different venues. For example, we need to use vacant school premises to allow the market to use these premises to promote culture. Above all, culture should be market-oriented. 70s, 80s, 90s, Hong Kong had buoyant culture policies. Even in mainland China, just now I gave different examples about literature creation, short videos, movie production, game production. All these are market-oriented. That's exactly why we do need cultural policies. We need to train young people to appreciate culture. We also need to fare better in venues. Tax concessions will go a long way. Can we have our own unique culture? We need to capitalize on our internationalization strength. Thank you. I so submit. Mrs. Regina Ip. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Ma for moving the motion on keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policies. Last evening, I wasn't in the chamber. I didn't hear what Mr. Ma said, but that I found the Secretary's opening remarks all too general. The other Secretary talked about setting up a commission, as well as the announcement of the blueprint. A lot of activities are involved, but what about the contents of these policies? I fail to see the contents of them. I'd like to make a few points. We have concert culture under the CSTB. When it comes to the promotion of Chinese culture, say, last week I went to the Chinese Culture Festival. The contents are actually quite similar comparing with the past events. Beijing opera, Cantonese opera. There was a wide range of operas featured in the festival. This year, we had a new performance about how the Song Dynasty was featured in the history of China. No high-ranking official in the government promoted this performance. If we do need to stay abreast of the times, does the CSTB know there are such performances in mainland China? Did the CSTB visit the mainland China to find out more about these performances? Say for Chinese Culture Festival, there were national celebrities or national performers staging performances, but then no official of the Hong Kong government visited the mainland China. I, as a legislator, went to the mainland to watch the performances. I thank Mr. Erik for his amendment. He talked about bridging the mainland and overseas countries, creating a multicultural atmosphere, leveraging our role as a superconnector, so that we can manifest the unique advantages of two systems in international arts and cultural exchanges and cooperation. I agree. While we are innovating, we shouldn't forget our traditional culture. Someone from France told me, well, he or she wouldn't stay in Hong Kong if it hadn't been for the cultural festival. The ballet group is also a cultural melting pot. They had Chinese costumes, and then the stage performances about Romeo and Juliet. The musical director, who has just left office, is an international conductor as well. The director now is from Finland. and our orchestra is actually of international level. Why doesn't the secretaries promote these achievements? Actually, we couldn't stage Cantonese opera on Hong Kong Coliseum. Cantonese opera used to be performed in the community. We need a smaller venue to appreciate Cantonese opera. We wouldn't be able to appreciate the delicacies of Cantonese opera in such a large venue as the Hong Kong Coliseum. I was once in Beijing. The seating capacity was only 200 people. A large venue wouldn't be a suitable one. So I hope that the CSTB officials will learn more about the Chinese culture. Don't forget the traditional culture while you're innovating. We need to preserve our traditional culture, say the Hong Kong Orchestra, ballet group, and so on. I so submit. Mr. Perry Yu. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of Mr. Ma's motion as well as the amendments moved by the other two members. Cultural policy has a wide coverage. I'd like to talk about the integration of culture and tourism so that we can shape tourism with cultural activities and promote culture through tourism. We need to leverage on cultures of power. In 2023 November, I talked about the deep integration of culture, tourism, and sports. I can see that the administration has been doubling down on efforts in this regard. In the policy address, this issue was mentioned as well. The Mega ACE Fund was enhanced. Tourism elements became a mandatory one. To develop Tourism and Culture Plus has been incorporated under the development blueprint for Hong Kong Tourism 2.0. The government is working very hard to liaise with the different trades as well as the tourism industry to further promote the integration of sports, culture, and tourism. First of all, I'd like to talk about tourism and ICH in Hong Kong. There's lots of ICH in Hong Kong. A total of 507 items have been listed on the ICH list. This is the first ICH month in Hong Kong. In the summit, I saw a lot of ICH in Hong Kong. We have the ICH highlight tours in Hong Kong. If we can promote Hong Kong style milk tea, lion dance, and so on, then we can promote more of these cultural activities with interactive events. That's exactly how we can promote and develop cultural and tourism products. Then we can better promote ICH. Next, we should also promote ICH with tourism and audiovisual productions. Korea is a successful example. Take martial arts movie as an example. They were immensely popular IP in the global arena. They also act as an important gateway for the Chinese culture to go global. We need to work faster to promote the integration between audiovisual production and tourism. The CCIDA is promoting the Kowloon Wall City a cinematic journey. This is a good starting point. I look forward to more such events in the future. We need to plan ahead. How can we promote different tourist attractions through these movies? We should also provide more martial arts experience, say Tai Chi. We need to combine sports and tourism. We need to promote Hong Kong with martial arts, which are immensely popular among Hong Kong tourists. Hong Kong has a lot of remnants and antiquities. We can tell the good stories of China and Hong Kong. Earlier on, I shot videos with Professor Lau in Kowloon City. We want to capitalize on cultural heritage resources, say the Stone Bridge, Long Chun Stone Bridge. We need to attract more tourists to go to these hiking trails as they go to the Kata Sports Park. We need to turn football into long-term economic benefits. Hong Kong is rich in cultural resources. Hong Kong has a lot of potential to combine tourism and culture. We need to make good use of these resources to boost the Hong Kong economy so that we will be famous for our culture and tourism. The current bottleneck is that we do need cross-sectoral collaboration as well as support from the government. The government should connect the tourism sector and the culture sector. I look forward to more collaboration among these sectors. That's how we can improve and enhance the cultural development of Hong Kong. That can also bolster cultural confidence of Hong Kong. Then we can tell good stories of Hong Kong and China.
Mr. Dennis Leung. Thank you, Mr. Deputy. I thank Mr. Ma for moving this motion. He gave us a chance to speak on how to strengthen our culture and how to update our cultural policy. Culture covers many different areas. It is a new growth engine. This is also an emerging industry. According to a survey done by the UNESCO, in 2020, the production from creation accounts for about 2.1% of the GDP. It has also provided about 50 million job opportunities. This shows the importance of culture to our economy. We have to update our cultural policy to meet the needs of the times. We have a unique landscape. We have the support of motherland. We are well connected to the rest of the world. We have favorable conditions to make better use of our culture. Our cultural industry has plenty of opportunities. Youngsters will find opportunities there. A good ecosystem will provide multiple pathways for our youngsters to move up the social ladder. The 14th Five-Year Plan positions Hong Kong as the International Cultural Exchange Center. There will be plenty of opportunities for our cultural industry. We have to think out of the box and turn Hong Kong culture into a new IP. McDowell, a decade ago, went global. A local designer created La Boo, which is the new trend. We can turn these into growth engines. Government can provide policy support. In terms of policy support, last year there was the announcement of the blueprint. It was a good start. We should make use of this opportunity by combining art and culture to turn it into a new industry. There can be tax concessions for the trade. We need to promote a crossover of art and culture. The youth post hostel will be commissioned soon. I hope that the venue will be turned into a new landmark. There will be feature activities staged there. We need to combine culture and tourism. We can make use of the qualification framework of the mainland so that practitioners can have better exchanges between the two places. Facilities are important. A lot of youngsters told me that they would like to see more art activities, but because of a lack of venues, that hasn't happened. But now, when we turn to other places, we see many dedicated areas in different areas showcasing performances, say in Korea. These areas grow. Well, we can make use of these venues for smaller groups. Sizable venues will be used by medium-sized art groups. Now there is a uniformed policy So different art groups will have to compete for the use of venues. The government said that they are going to update the booking system of venues. They will provide suitable venues for different groups. But even with suitable venues, you need to give them time for them to grow. I hope that when it comes to allocation of venues, the policies will be expedited. We need to give multiple pathways for youngsters to develop. I hope that our cultural policies will be updated. Mr. Brave Chan, thank you. I speak in support of Mr. Ma's motion. I thank him for moving the motion. I also thank the two members for their amendments. Well, what he says here is to promote Chinese culture and to build Hong Kong into a Chinese culture hub. Promotion of Chinese culture is mentioned in the original motion. We have to be culturally confident. We have to make good use of Hong Kong's position as an international cultural exchange center. We need to enhance our cultural confidence in Hong Kong and on the mainland. We have to tell good stories of Hong Kong and the mainland. President Xi said that culture is the soul of a country and of its people. When there is strong culture, the people will be strong, the country will be too. We have a very long history. Out of the four oldest civilizations, China is the only one that has never been interrupted. We have a long history. We have golden periods of culture in many of our dynasties. It's just in the past 100 years we've been bullied. The Qing dynasty was corrupt and we were being trampled on. When our country was not strong, our culture seemed to be weak, but it remains strong. Now we just have to revive our culture. When our country is strong, the culture will have to catch up. Sometimes culture can be quite avant-garde. When it comes to Hong Kong, there was a time when people said that Hong Kong was a cultural desert. We've seen what the government has done in the past year. They've done a lot of work in terms of culture, sports, concerts. We have the Palace Museum attracting mainland visitors. They come to see artifacts that are not on the mainland. And on top of that, we have M+, we have sports grounds, we have a unique culture that cannot be copied. I was born in Henan. It was a capital in the Song dynasty. It was once a cultural center, but then the Song dynasty was being invaded. Back in those days, we had a number of renowned items. During the Southern Song dynasty, the emperor ran away and came to Hong Kong. Well, we have Song Wong Toi, which is related to the emperor of the Song dynasty. We can promote our culture. We can connect the East with the West. We can integrate different cultures. We can elevate our culture. We don't resort to physical actions. That makes us a class that is different from the others. The government talked about a key area of work to strengthen our art, culture, and tourism. We have the blueprint. We need to play our role well. We have to be culturally confident. We have to boost our economic development. We have to make contributions to make our country strong culturally and in other areas as well. Mr. Tan Yue Hang. Now we look around the world. There is a lot of cultural exchanges. We have conflicts. The landscape is complicated. The 14th Five-Year Plan positioned Hong Kong as an international cultural exchange center. This is a high-level strategic planning. Hong Kong plays the role to connect our country with the world. We have to make full use of the one country, two systems advantage as well as our connections with the rest of the world. We have to strengthen our cultural capabilities. I support the original motion and the 2 amendments. I urge the government to update the policies and the blueprint. We have to inject energy into the cultural industry. We have to create a good ecosystem. We have to continue to perform our role as an international cultural exchange center. We need to promote Chinese culture. We have to strengthen our soft power. We are going to become the International Cultural Exchange Center. It's not just about organizing different activities. We have to enrich the content as well. In terms of that, we need to strengthen our art education. We have to enhance appreciation of art and cultural events. We have to promote Chinese culture. We have to maintain our unique culture of Chinese and East and West cultural integration. We have to make better use of our ICH. We have to involve the civic community. We have to enhance our sense of identity with our country, with our culture. We have to enhance understanding of students of the Chinese culture. We have to increase the percentage of classroom time on Chinese culture. We need to give students more opportunities to learn about Chinese culture. We need to arouse their interest in Chinese culture. We also have to provide opportunities of performance art, which serves as a growth engine for our economy. We have seen a number of mega events in sports and in culture. We have attracted visitors to come to Hong Kong. There are also a number of well-known Hong Kong films. This has aroused the interest of visitors about the Hong Kong culture. This is a very important part of our pop culture. In addition, we have to strengthen our soft and hardware. We need to take our cultural items out of Hong Kong. We have to improve our facilities and our venues. We have to provide facilitating measures to attract overseas cultural and art groups to come to Hong Kong. We need to attract visitors to come to Hong Kong and keep them here longer. We need to increase support and subsidy. We need to improve the environment for incubation. We also have to strengthen support to the development of the art and cultural industries. We need to combine these industries with the financial market. We need to leverage on our financial market. There are some well-known mainland markets coming to be listed in Hong Kong. We can make use of these funds to support the industries. The financial industries have a role to play. There can be financial products provided, service provided And all these can be used to promote our art and cultural industries. We can put in place funds. We need to attract capital from our society and channel them to develop art and culture. We can also provide matching services. We can also facilitate IPs to take root in Hong Kong. I so speak in support of the motion and the amendment.
Dr. Junius Ho. President. Keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policy is a very up-to-date topic. Members talked about history, culture, and even national security. They are all interrelated. We cannot look at any of these areas individually because they're all interconnected. So I think this topic is great and it covers a wide scope of area. Mr. Ma Fung-kwok mentioned that back in 2000, the SAR government already established the Culture and Heritage Commission. And also in the last century, we had already started discussing this. We have to know what happened in our history. It is the culture and history passed on from our great-great-grandparents. Well, Hong Kong has experienced a very special historical period because we were once ruled by the British government. Well, I don't think we were a colony because of political reasons. We had the Opium War, and it was a result of economic disputes and conflicts. It is like the tariff war that we're experiencing now. The British people sold us something. They failed and they snatched our tea and silk, and they had nothing to trade with us, so in return they gave us opium. That's how our country got into the plight. And so this has to do with history and culture. We became the so-called sick man of East Asia. Well, the key is how we can transform this into a new power and new set of values. Hong Kong has one country, two systems, and we are connected to the world. We have been the bridge. Well, if we are to be the bridge, we will have to take up different responsibilities. Many streets, places, and parks in Hong Kong were still using the names given when we were ruled by the British government. Well, like the Victoria Park, we forgot that Victoria once did a lot of harms to Hong Kong and China because these names have been beautified. It's not that we have to give up on all these records and history, but I do think that there's a need to review the names of all the places and streets in Hong Kong, like Queen's Road. Instead of calling it Queen's Road, we can call it, for example, Wong Hao Road. How about Victoria Park? Well, how can we rename it? Can we give it a new name by turning the syllables around? Well, we have the statue of Victoria. We can also have a statue of Lin Zexu. We can have QR codes on these statues and tell people about the history. Well, with the statue of Queen Victoria, we can tell people the history behind. In 1840, Lin Zexu was 55, and he got exiled after the Opium War. and he died with regret. How old was Queen Victoria? She was born in 1819, and in 1840 she was 21 years old. She was still very young, but she got us in all these troubles. So I think we have to give people a comprehensive understanding of our history through cultural policies. We are part of our nation. We have to contribute to the rejuvenation of our country, and we have to praise our country. Professor William Wong, I thank Mr. Ma for the motion. I speak in support of it. Many years ago, Hong Kong focused on pursuing economic development, and we did not focus on our culture. That's why we were deemed the cultural desert. However, times have changed. We have achieved results in many areas of arts and culture. We've got many talents. For example, in animation, we have Hui Sheng-ai. We also have Wong Ho, who joined Pixar. Apart from MacDowell, as well as Master Q, and we also recently have La Bobo, the animated film produced by Hong Kong people, was nominated an Oscar award. So it shows that we have great potential in our arts and culture. Creative and cultural industries could bring about great benefits, like K-pop in Korea. They sparked a craze around the world. It has brought billions of US dollars of economic benefits over the past 2 decades. Also, the TV drama from China also showed its soft power. We should follow suit. We have to come up with cultural policies and create creative and cultural IPs and sell them to the world. We had Create Hong Kong, set up by the government. Now it has become the CCIDA, Cultural and Creative Industries Development Agency. I believe it can better focus on promoting our creative and cultural industries. In order to do that, we need the environment. I believe the CCIDA has been working hard to create a fertile ground for promoting our arts and cultural industry. I will use our animation and comics as a starting point. I have the following suggestions. First, for our local animation, we have to come up with an IP platform so that artists can display their works on the platform for readers' appreciation. This is also to showcase the ability of our artists so that we can attract collaboration opportunities. These IP can be extended to films, TV dramas, novels or fictions, games, or peripheral merchandises. The SAR government should also consolidate the content of the Hong Kong Films Archive as well as the other museums. It should give authorization for people to use the relevant photos and literature. It should also display photos of the 6 pandas. We have to inspire our artists. We should have a data bank on this. We should encourage secondary creation based on these IP to tell good stories of Hong Kong. Thirdly, the IP protection organizations in Hong Kong should be interfaced with the world. We should come up with our own certification system to ensure AI-generated works meet the copyright requirements and that they comply with the laws and regulations. For digital works created on platforms, they should be registered. For example, through blockchain technologies, we can offer timestamp certification. Also, through NFT, we can provide digital certification. Through the international organization of mediation, we can also provide dispute resolution services. Now, in the digital era, everyone can publish works in the cyber world. The SAR government should include digital creation in the primary and secondary school curriculum to teach students how to use AI tools. It should teach students how to use AI ethically so that they can become creative consumers as well as creators in the world. This will help us build the ecosystem of arts and culture in Hong Kong. I so submit. Mr. Michael Lee. Thank you. There was a policy published in 2003 by the Culture and Heritage Commission on how we should formulate our cultural policies. Now, with the economic restructuring and transformation, we should make good use of our culture to enhance people's sense of identity as well as their understanding of our country and one country, two systems principle. There should be resources allocated to this so that we can more efficiently enhance people's sense of identity and people's cohesion. This will also leverage or promote our arts and culture industry. According to the National 14th Five-Year Plan, we have the 8 centers position. We can do this online and offline. Online, we can have more microfilm channels and platforms. They can be broadcast on apps from Douyin, WeChat, as well as iQIYI. There are microfilms like these. The SAR government can produce films to promote the Lingnan culture as well as information about where to eat and buy in Hong Kong. Xi'an is a city of short films. According to 2023 statistics, the films produced in Xi'an account for 80% of the entire short film industry. Short films emerged in 2021. Over the past few years, after rapid development of short films, we have over 900 million audiences around the world who watch short films. One major feature is that these films are short. They are about 3 to 5 minutes each, and with just 7 to 8 days, you can come up with a series of drama of short films. Compared to traditional TV dramas, they take shorter time to produce. And also micro videos or microfilms, they make use of algorithms and they see quick return. However, you have to abide by a strict fiscal discipline in order to gain profit. The SAR government can allocate resources to this. Every year it can hold continuous activities about microfilms. For example, the SAR government can work with the academia and offer courses on culture and arts and even hold microfilm competitions so that students can have a stage to display their skills. They can also learn or display what they have learned. They can even set up individual IPs. This will open up a pathway for young people. With the effort of the government, I believe we can build the atmosphere of arts and culture. We'll be able to attract overseas visitors so that our arts and culture can flourish in Hong Kong. Now, cultivating artists is a big challenge. Many people shift to other industries because of economic reasons. So it's hard for us to enlarge the talent pool. In the short run, the government can offer subsidies to nurture talents. In the long run, we can build an industry on arts and culture. Now, with the feedback from citizens, and according to my personal experience at the community level, there have been arts and cultural events of different scales. But how come we still haven't been able to build a arts and culture vibe compared to other international metropolis? This is because the rent is high. So operators and organizations have found it hard to sustain their businesses. and they cannot even hold cultural events. In the long run, the government should come up with recreational and leisure facilities. If there are such performance venues in every district, it can cultivate the culture. The government should streamline the relevant procedures for granting venues. And during weekends, it should offer subsidies and offer flexible rent so that arts groups can rent facilities in commercial buildings or industrial buildings. This way, we can be the East-Meets-West Center for International Cultural Exchange, and we can build harmony and tell good stories of China. Thank you.
Monsieur Nassiong, Deputy President, I speak in support of Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion on keeping pace with the times and updating cultural policy. I also support the amendments. As set out in the original motion in 2003, the recommendation report was published to set out principles and goals of the policy. Since establishment of the Culture and Heritage Commission in year 2000, a report has been published. It's been 22 years. It's time for a revamp with socio-economic developments. We need to cope with new changes and challenges, and we need to meet new demands. Hong Kong has invested in infrastructure such as the West Kowloon Cultural District, M+ Museum, Palace Museum. We also provide exhibition venues for art fairs. However, the Hong Kong Cultural Center was built 40 years ago. Concerts, operas, and other performances are being held at this rather outdated venue. And there are limitations for state-of-the-art and high-level performances to be held there. We need a new plan so that a new venue can provide opportunities for performances to be held. For local art groups, they definitely form a very essential part of the ecosystem. For a long time, they have been giving creative performances to locals. I am chair of a music organization. I understand their plight. They encounter various challenges in terms of rent, so on and so forth. They also need storage for big instruments, percussions, drums. It's not easy to hire a venue. The LCSD venue does not provide long-term storage, and we're talking about government venues. We need the storage because we need to conduct rehearsals every week or at least bi-weekly. The government should optimize the hiring of venues so as to allow equal and fair distribution of resources. Different groups have their own rehearsal and performance schedules. There should be an enhanced subsidy mechanism. We should support not only major groups, we should support small to medium-sized art groups and youth organizations to promote sustainable development. Mr. Yim Kong mentioned in his amendment fostering a greater tie and fostering exchanges, especially in the Greater Bay Area. That means the government should coordinate resources so as to build ties with international organizations, so as to strive for more opportunities of cooperating with mainland and international organizations. Now I'd like to turn to pop culture. We have busking, street art, e-gaming, and other creative artworks that young people find attractive nowadays. The government should work with community organizations to help promote pop culture and help them tap markets. Now, Mr. Erik Yim mentioned in his amendment fostering international exchanges and exchanges with the Greater Bay Area. In that sense, we should collaborate with Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and Macau. There should be more sharing of resources and exchange of ideas. For Shenzhen, for example, we can work with them on the digital front. In Guangzhou, performance arts. Now, many members today talked about the Cantonese operas. The LCSD has been organizing training programs for children who are aspired to join the Cantonese Opera Circle. There are performances by children nowadays. Parents are fond of these training programs, and it's a good way of passing on traditional Chinese culture. We also have ICH theme activities in Hong Kong. The government should leverage on technology such as VR, AR, so as to enrich the experience of locals and visitors alike. Finally, on telling good stories of Hong Kong and our country, the government should enhance the subsidy mechanism, foster greater exchange with the international community, and nurture talents. All these are important. The government should continue to support the smaller art groups. Dr. Ho Simon Lee. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok for moving to this motion. I'd like to focus on the export of culture. Around the world, we see exports of culture everywhere. For example, in South Korea, in Asia, through K-drama, K-pop, and variety shows, they are exerting global influence. In Japan, Cool Japan receives government subsidy to help promote the design and production of animation and comics. In Taiwan, they also have a strategy to attract the eyeball of the international community. Now that is how we strengthen the soft power of a nation. In Hong Kong, we also have a very rich history. We have a lot of experience. For example, we have Hong Kong films and pop songs that were really popular among the Chinese communities. In fact, according to statistics, many Hong Kong pop singers began to hold concerts in the mainland, and that is now a major trend. We have the prerequisites. We also have the unique advantage to export culture. For example, we have a very good foundation as a cultural melting pot. We have a very free environment that is conducive to creative works. We have a very mature industry for film, for music, and for design. We have talents for graphic design as well as cantopop music. So we are also an international city as an international financial center. We enjoy this advantage of being an internationalized city to promote our culture and reach out to the wider audience. Now I have the following suggestions. In order to exert influence in the global community, we should encourage co-production of films. For example, we should we should collaborate with streaming platforms such as Netflix, Disney, iQIYI, etc., so as to produce films with local characteristics and global influence at the same time. We can focus on police drama, action, martial arts, etc. These are our traditional advantages. We should also go further. That means we should promote our films abroad using the funds available. The other point is about cantopop and the revival of cantopop. We have different online platforms such as Apple Music, etc. We should capitalize on these platforms to promote Cantonese singers, including those in the newer generation. Now, for the music festival in Hong Kong, we should invite more international musicians to come here and give performances on areas such as modern dance and drama. The third point is this: we have very unique visual arts designs in Hong Kong, such as neon signs. We also use a special character set for MTR stations. It's called the Song character. So we should collaborate with internationally well-known brands so as to be the trendsetter. Finally, in terms of literary works and publication, we should translate famous literary works such as Mr. Jin Yong's fictions, so as to reach out to the global audience. Now, using the internet, we should further promote online fiction and online comics, such as the comic called Feng-yuan. Now, we should leverage on different technologies and platforms to promote ourselves. Other members already talked about the available avenues such as TikTok and Instagram. We can create a 1-minute microdrama to promote Hong Kong culture. We can also leverage on technology such as virtual reality and metaverse so that the audience can see for themselves the history of Hong Kong as well as Cantonese opera performances. Now, we should also designate an officer as a cultural officer in the ETOs abroad. Tax breaks should be provided for the business sector to have greater participation in the process. I so submit, I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Paul Chair, Deputy President, a lot of members talked about the glorious history of Hong Kong in the 1970s and 80s. We formed the core of the Chinese culture. Our works flourished at the time. And frankly speaking, we are not faring as well now. Well, in fact, our economy has improved. People are more educated. Why is it that we're not faring better? The major difference is because of the position as a cultural melting pot. In the past, because of immigrants coming from the mainland, there was a surge of talents in Hong Kong. Now, back then the government did not have any proactive policy to promote culture, and yet there was a good soil for cultural works to take off. Now, like Mr. Ma Fung-kwok said, times have changed. It's time to update the cultural policy. In terms of infrastructure, we've made heavy investments. In terms of policy, likewise, we've set up funds to provide subsidies. Now, why is it that despite the efforts, we are not catching up? Now, I often cite this commercial slogan, less is more, when it comes to art. Creators and artists are not fond of restrictions. They are not inclined to conform. So the more restrictions you have, the less the space is available for the creative industry. And that is why we are not offering as much space as before, and we are not doing as well. There is less room for creativity. So it's a balancing exercise. There are different issues, national security and China-US conflict, soft resistance, world peace even. I fully appreciate the existence of these issues, but then we need to ensure that sufficient space is given for the creative industries. We should allow artists to let their creativity run free on the good soil. Otherwise, there is no soul in the artwork. So all in all, space is of utmost importance for the arts and cultural industry. The other point is we often talk about the rule of law and we respect the rule of law. On the contrary, for soft resistance, it's kind of an exploitation of the loophole. It cannot be detected and cracked down easily. So if the government goes by administrative means to make this determination as to whether law enforcement action should be taken, that means the room for development is further stifled. Nobody dare to create anything. So I fully support what other members said, regardless of the technologies, policies, even venues available. If you're doing too much, you're actually creating an antithesis to creativity. And if there is no creativity, there is no international exchange to speak of. Because of this long arm principle, foreigners dare not come and exchange their views with us, let alone cultural exchange. So we need to strike a proper balance. Of course, we should, at an appropriate level, tackle soft resistance. But at the same time, if the government seeks to promote cultural and creative developments, the balance should be struck.
Does any other member wish to speak? Mr. Ma Fung-kwok, you may now speak on the amendments. Mr. Ma? Mr. Deputy, cultural policy spans over many different areas. 10 minutes is not enough for me to cover everything. I thank Mr. Leung and Mr. Yim for their amendments. These have enriched my original motion. Mr. Leung said in his amendment that whilst updating the cultural policy, then we need to enhance discovery, collation, and education publicity of history and culture. We have to strengthen the gatekeeping function of one country, two systems. We also have to guard against soft resistance as well as activities with an ulterior agenda. We need to bear in mind that in the implementation of the various enforcements, the creativity of practitioners should not be stifled. There should not be additional burden on them. We have rich culture. These are precious resources that can in turn strengthen our development. The amendment talked about our duty to strengthen cultural confidence. Education for the young is important. That echoes what I said in my original motion. We need to foster a sense of belonging. We need to instill a sense of duty in our youngsters so that they will be able to transmit our culture. Mr. Yim talked about our role as a super connector and the strengthening of international exchanges and cooperation, and that we need to tap into the advantage of two systems. Times have changed. International cooperation and exchange highlights Hong Kong's role as an international cultural exchange center. We can also provide the world a view of Chinese culture. It also talks about building of a smart platform. That is very important in breaking down the geographical barriers. This enriches my original motion. We do need to reallocate resources and increase resources devotion. The central theme of my original motion is to update cultural policy. The amendments have enriched this theme. Members have given us valuable views in relation to update of our cultural policy. Members talked about a number of areas: inadequacy of facilities, revitalizing idle space and sites, strengthening promotion of ICH, promoting the integration of technology and culture. Members have also talked about long-term policies. They said that there should be strengthening of art education, VPET, training of talents and professionals. These are very constructive comments. We need to deal with it in a comprehensive way. cultural development is not just about the development of the industry. It's also about building an audience with good appreciation capabilities. I will welcome all these views, even if they come in the form of an amendment. We have to integrate into the national development. We need to strengthen our cultural confidence. I hope that our policies will be in keeping with the times. I ask members to support my original motion and the 2 amendments. I so speak.
文化
Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism. Deputy President, I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok for moving the motion, Mr. Dennis Leung and Dr. Erik Yim for their amendments, as well as over 30 members for their valuable views and suggestions. Like the Undersecretary said in his opening remarks yesterday, the Blueprint for Arts and Culture and Creative Industries Development set out clear visions, principles, and directions for the future development of our arts, cultural, and creative industries. The cultural policies of the CSTB can be categorized under the 4 development directions. Now I will give an overall response to members' points. Culture can be a common belief, language, ritual, or behavior. In a more narrow sense, some people may say it has to do with aesthetics, and those people focus on artworks when they understand the term culture. If we focus on the broader definition of the term, we won't be able to have a focused discussion. But if we focus on the narrower interpretation, we won't be able to look at all areas of arts and culture. In 2003, the Culture and Heritage Commission released a policy recommendation report. It adopted a human-based approach. It wasn't a government-led approach. Instead, it gave a comprehensive recommendation. We have to cultivate culture. We cannot build culture overnight. The culture of a place is built on its history. In this sense, Hong Kong is a very unique place. For years, Hong Kong has been part of China, and China has a very rich and fine tradition of history. We are in the Huanan district, and we have seen the legacy of Lingnan culture, which is shown in our art and music, as well as our culinary culture. By passing on the Lingnan culture, we can express our patriotism and love for our country. With the unique history of Hong Kong, we are able to become an international metropolis with both Chinese and Western culture. In terms of fine culture, we have been influenced by different styles of art from the West. Non-Chinese people, they find resonance in our expression of language and words. Over the years, we've had the exchanges of Chinese and Western culture, and that's how we came to this point that we're able to preserve the fine tradition and we're able to promote cultural exchanges between the East and the West. The National 14th Five-Year Plan supports Hong Kong to become the East meets West Center for International Cultural Exchange. I have been leading the Culture Commission, which was set up in 2023. Last November, the CSTB promulgated the arts and the blueprint for arts and creative industry. And we've got some 70 measures published under the blueprint. We hope to promote exchanges between the East and the West so that we can ensure the sustainable development of the arts and cultural industry in Hong Kong. I'd first like to talk about the promotion of Chinese culture. We have an inclusive culture, and with the unique advantages under one country, two systems, we use national security as our guide and culture as the vehicle. We, through various means, present to the world the treasure of traditional Chinese culture. And through innovative ways, we tell the story of China to promote people-to-people bonds. At the same time, we've been active in publicity and educational work to enhance citizens' cultural confidence and patriotism. In this connection, the LCSD set up the Chinese Culture Promotion Office in April 2024 to promote Chinese culture. It makes use of LCSD's rich resources related to Chinese culture and history, such as museum collections, cultural and arts performances, library resources, and film materials to enable the public to learn about Chinese culture. The office, as well as the Hong Kong Museum of History, co-presented a series of exhibitions on the general history of China, which introduces the important periods of Chinese history in chronological order from Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties to the modern era. The series started with the ancient civilization of the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties in Henan province in 2024. The plan is to conclude the series in 2029 with an exhibition celebrating the 80th anniversary of the founding of the PRC. The exhibition is to enhance public interest and their understanding of Chinese culture. Since 2024, we've been organizing the Chinese Cultural Festival every year. The first edition of the festival brought together 150 outstanding local and mainland arts groups and organizations, presenting more than 250 performances and activities. It attracted over 900,000 participants. Like Mr. Dennis LEUNG said, we have in the festival strengthened the collation and educational publicity of history. For example, we offered free admission to the Chinese Culture for All, a special performance series. According to a questionnaire survey, more than 80% of the festival participants agreed that the activities have enhanced their understanding of and interest in Chinese culture. This year, the festival will organize 280 performances and activities to enhance the education and promotion of Chinese culture. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the members who attended and took part in the activities of the festival, which helped with our education and publicity efforts. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory in the War of Resistance. We seek to improve our museum system. The Museum of Coastal Defense has been rebuilt as the Hong Kong Museum of the War of Resistance and Coastal Defense. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory in the War of Resistance. The museum will organize thematic exhibitions outlining the coordinating role of the CPC Central Committee during the War of Resistance in Hong Kong and detailing the history of Guangzhou and Hong Kong before and after the fall of Hong Kong. This will enable the public to have a more in-depth and accurate understanding of the history of the war. Last week, we had a relevant discussion here, and I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you that since this April, we have rolled out a map of museum. It has the relevant information about different museums, and the information will be updated accordingly to showcase the thematic exhibitions on the 80th anniversary of the victory in the War of Resistance. This is to enrich people's travel experience. A number of members mentioned about the intangible cultural heritage. Since this year, the LCSD has been holding the ICH event every year. This will allow visitors to experience the intangible cultural heritage here. The first ICH month in June this year covered over 100 ICH items and explored in depth the local cultural characteristics of Hong Kong. It helps to shape tourism with cultural activities and promote culture through tourism. I agree with the importance of ICH in Hong Kong. We will formulate a mechanism for the recognition of bearers of Hong Kong's ICH items on the representative list of the ICH of Hong Kong. We will nurture a younger generation to take part in the transmission of ICH to enhance the sustainability of ICH in Hong Kong and expand the education on ICH. On Cantonese opera, it is an ICH item with Lingnan cultural characteristics. The government has been actively supporting the preservation, research, promotion, and sustainable development of Cantonese opera. The Cantonese Opera Development Fund was set up in 2005, and through the fund, the government has been providing the Cantonese opera sector with support, including traditional and innovative shows of Cantonese opera, cultural exchanges, education, and community promotion. As members said, we are facing the challenges on how we can bring in young people to join the Cantonese opera sector. I've just had the chance to talk to leaders of, for example, the Hong Kong Academy of Performing Arts, and we share similar views with each other. We hope that we can bring together consensus and transform them into policy initiatives. The Chinese Culture Promotion Office will rebuild the historic building in the former Whitfield Barracks in Kowloon Park. This will be a landmark to promote Chinese culture. The public will be able to experience for themselves the history and culture. The relevant funding application has been approved. It was approved in May this year by the Finance Committee of LEUNG. The construction works will commence at the end of June this year, and it will take 3 years to construct the building. The museum will be completed in 2028. Now I'd like to turn to the pop culture in Hong Kong. In the 70s, we started seeing the emergence of pop culture in Hong Kong. It covers milk tea, French toast, as well as soy sauce, barbecued pork. It also covers Cantonese opera, as well as the British culture. Some may think that these elements aren't elegant enough. However, they do form a part of Hong Kong. They are rooted in the Chinese culture, and also they have been influenced by the Western culture. It is very charming, and it has been able to catch the attention of the world. That's how we become the pole of the Orient. This current term government attaches importance to building our soft power. Since 2023, the LCSD has been working with the industry to organize the Pop Culture Festival annually. We organize film screenings, thematic exhibitions, and outreach activities. The first 2 festivals attracted over 1.1 million participants. The 3rd edition was launched in April this year. As at the end of May, the festival has attracted more than 450,000 participants. Now, the West Kowloon Cultural District Authority is an important partner of the LCSD. It has been promoting arts and culture in Hong Kong in year 2023 to 24. The West Kowloon Cultural District Music Festival brought together young singers and groups, and it has been very well received by music fans. The festival attracted more than 60,000 participants in 2024, which broke the attendance record of various music festivals in the West Kowloon Cultural District. Large-scale concerts can help attract tourists from all over the world. They can drive economic development, and can also help stimulate local spending. The government is happy to see that many renowned singers and groups held concerts in Hong Kong. Since the opening of the Kai Tak Sports Park in March, it has become the top event venue in Hong Kong and a new base for a number of major events. Coldplay, Nicholas J, Mayday from Taiwan, as well as JJ Lin from Singapore have held concerts in the Kai Tak Sports Park, and together they have attracted over 600,000 local people and visitors from overseas, and this help promote the synergistic development of the industry. It also shows the great opportunities brought about by the Kai Tak Sports Park. They've also strengthened our position as a mega event hub in Asia. Well, some members said we have to make good use of our venues. I have attended many arts and cultural shows and performances since 2018. I have been buying tickets to see different shows. You can tell from my Facebook page that I often comment on some 8 to 10 shows that I have seen. I watched a Japanese show, and I also watched some major performances. Some are from our country. And I also watched the major musical known as Carmen. Some media could not see where I was sitting because I was not at the audience session. And one of the shows helped showcase the culture of Hong Kong. Now we have many shows, but we have limited land, so there is a lack of facilities. With the commissioning of the Kai Tak Sports Park, we have a new facility to stage sports and entertainment events. As Mr. Ma Fung-kwok said, we have to break through this constraint. Therefore, last week, I announced a set of new mechanism and policies on reforming the booking policy of performance venues. We will reposition the Hong Kong Coliseum. It will help drive concert economy, and it will provide venues for different arts groups. I'd like to stress one thing. Some media say we're going to use the Hong Kong Coliseum for Cantonese opera. Well, there's been some misunderstanding. The truth is that we will introduce changes to our policy. We will identify appropriate sites for staging Cantonese opera performances. Now, according to my own observation, for years we've had Xichu Center as well as the other theatre. We also have Kwai Ching Theatre, and in other districts including Sha Tin, Tuen Mun, we have the town hall, which are suitable for staging Cantonese opera performances. They've been very popular among our Cantonese opera groups. We will identify more appropriate sites for our Cantonese opera groups. The government will continue to allocate resources to build new venues. We will upgrade the existing venues as well. Under the LCSD, we have the civic Sai Wan Ho Civic Center as well as the Tai Po Civic Center, which have been upgraded. For the East Kowloon Cultural Center, it will be commissioned within this year. Again, they will offer more venue choices. As for the West Kowloon Cultural District, apart from museums, we have over 20 indoor and outdoor venues for different types of activities. The West K Performing Arts Center is slated to start operating in 2027. There will be a 1,450-seat grand theatre and several theatres of different sizes. They will be a world-class venue for staging different performances. In 2024, we rolled out the signature performance scheme to attract visitors from overseas. The scheme saw its deadline last month. We will announce the results soon. We expect new performances that will appear in Hong Kong. Currently, on a pilot basis, we have been opening up different school premises for arts groups. As to making use of vacant cinemas, we are in talks with the relevant organizations. Apart from providing more venues, we have been supporting arts practitioners to go global. For example, in 2024, the Performing Arts Expo was held, and we were able to attract over 1,600 arts practitioners, and we've seen 30,000 attendances. This helps facilitate exchange in the industry. To further leverage the expo and build flagship events for the arts and culture, we have commissioned the Arts Development Council again, and next December we will hold the second edition of the expo. We hope to open up a greater market and attract more audiences. In terms of facilitating exchanges, in 2018 to 2019, we have offered regular subsidy for arts groups to hold arts and cultural events in the mainland as well as abroad. The relevant ETOs have also hired more staff to help take forward the work. As mentioned by Mr. Perry Yu, we seek to strengthen international exchanges. We want to play the role as a super connector. While we are seeing fiscal constraints within the government, we are still keeping up with the regular subsidy. In year 2024 to 25, from 50 million, we increased the subsidy amount to $70 million, so that art groups as well as artists with great potential can work with the relevant agencies. They'll have more opportunities to showcase their skills. In year 2024 to 24, arts groups and artists in Hong Kong who received the subsidy took part in the Adelaide Festival as well as the Biennale in Italy as well as the Arts Festival in Georgia, Malaysia. Also, we will help coordinate an event, and there will be an event in September to October. There will be a movie screening. It is expected to attract 450,000 audiences. This will help Hong Kong increase its exposure. Starting from 2024, the CSTB has approved 23 projects that were nominated or listed into a national program. They can take part in exchanges. A lot of the projects have been in Macau, Southeast Asia, North America, as well as Europe, showcase their performances. This helps pass on Chinese culture and facilitate cultural collaboration. The West Kowloon Cultural District helps export culture as well. It has been actively bringing performances to abroad. For example, M+ in 2024 introduced the IMP exhibition. This exhibition has been very well received. Currently, it is now showcased in Shanghai. This November, the exhibition will be moved to Doha, Qatar, and it will be exhibited in Qatar Museum. Also, this month, the West Kowloon Cultural District launched the Shanghai Cultural Week, and it staged 7 major items. The M+ Museum as well as the Hong Kong Palace Museum has staged very well-known musical shows as well as performances. This helps export culture of Hong Kong. We encourage artists to go to different places for exchanges, especially in the Belt and Road countries and in the Middle East. We hope that they can seize opportunities to tap into a wider market so that they can help tell good stories of our country. Mr. Ma mentioned about the development of the industry. We have been facilitating cross-sectoral collaboration. This helps build an ecosystem. The CCID ACE program has been offering cultural projects and items with potential to help the industry tap into new business opportunities. We also agree that technology is crucial. we have been promoting technological development, and we encourage arts projects to apply technology. In the budget 2022 and 23, we have reserved $70 million for upgrading LCSD's facilities. For example, we have subsidy for upgrading our light show equipment as well as audio equipment. The East Kowloon Cultural Center is the first venue with arts tech, with state-of-the-art equipment and stage devices will be able to turn it into a cradle for nurturing arts tech talent. We've also earmarked $30 million for an arts tech subsidy scheme to encourage performance groups to apply technology and move with the times. The East Kowloon Cultural Center has a arts tech academy to nurture talents, and through different training scheme, we are able to disseminate arts tech related information to support the sustainable development of the sector. It has rolled out an internship program to nurture talents and support the relevant arts tech program. We agree that talent is an important part of the industry. The government has brought together different talent schemes, and they are incorporated into the talent list. We are also trying to launch different talent training programs to enhance the professionalism of our local talents. The Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts is ranked in the top 20 globally in the performing arts category in the QS World University Rankings 2025. This is the 6th time that the HKAPA is ranked the top 20 since the QS introduced this category, recognizing its position as a global leader. Now, in the north, in the New Territories North New Town, we've reserved site for the second campus for the HKAPA, and this will bring about synergy in the development of the arts and culture, and this will help nurture talents with an international outlook.
When it comes to training our administrators, in 2010 and 11, the LCSD has rolled out relevant training programs to train youngsters. That these youngsters will receive training programs under the LCSD and relevant organizations. Since 2023, through these WKCD, for those who read art and culture, they will receive training placements in the relevant programs. We have also, through a matching program, provided over 200 places for students to work in local art groups. We've also provided training for professionals in artifact restorations. There are summer internship and training programs. We'll continue to identify resources to enhance training programs. For those who aspire to work in this sector, there will be progression pathways for them to obtain certification and qualification. We will strengthen our talent pool for the long-term development of art and culture. Once again, I thank members for their valuable constructive input. The CSTB will work closely with stakeholders to promote cross-departmental collaboration. We will engage the industries will accord right priorities to different programs. We will leverage on Hong Kong's unique advantage for the development of high-quality art and culture initiatives, so that Hong Kong will become an international exchange center. I now call upon Mr. Dennis Leung to move a motion. President, I move my amendment. I propose the question to you that Mr. Dennis Leung's amendment be passed. Those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the amendment passed. Dr. Erik Yim, as the previous amendment has been passed, you may move your further amendment. President, I move my further amendment. I propose the question to you that Dr. Erik Yim's further amendment be passed. And will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Ma Fung-kwok, you have 8 seconds to reply. Then the debate will come to a close. Mr. Ma. President, I thank the 35 members who will have shared with us their valuable views. They have made. Please stop. And I'll put the question to you that Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion as amended by Mr. Dennis LEUNG and Dr. Erik be passed. Those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by 2 groups of members present. I declare the motion as amended passed.